It's now time for Ermanni and Edwards with Maz, live on the Woodward Sports Network. Every day, 2 to 4 p.m. Starring Ryan Ermanni, Michigan great and former NFL baller Braylon Edwards, and of course, Tom Mazawey. Let's talk some sports.
Here we go. Let's go. Tuesday, August 1st, 2023. Ermanni and Edwards with Maz. Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com. If you are watching live, Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, good afternoon to you, my friend.
Ryan Ermanni, how you doing, brother?
What a hell of a day it was for both of us yesterday.
This is true.
You kidding me? Fresh off the course at Oakland Hills. Braylon, what is it like to play that monster course?
It's a very hilly course, man. Like it's tough. They have elevated greens. Some of them go all the way up to about 90 feet. They have huge bunkers, especially if you play on the south side. But it's fun. Like they take care of it. You know, the money that they put into that course, it shows. The greens are great. The fairway was great. The rough is thick. But it's a great course to play, and it's a lot of fun, especially when you get a chance to play with D-Man, win with D-Man.
Yeah, you guys won the whole outing.
Yeah, we won. I didn't even realize until I got
16
home.
under?
I didn't stay for the reception. I was tired as hell.
Oh, yeah.
Sunday in the J.J. McCarty outing, and today yesterday played in that American Cancer Society, so a little fatigued, but got that win. That's all about the W.
We got you today, Braylon Edwards. Tom Mazawey, good afternoon to you, my friend.
What up, boys? Good to be here. Good to be back home in the studio, although yesterday was a great day. Loved being at Oakland Hills. Great setup, like we were just talking with the boys, JB and Parker, and they set us up like pros, and it was great seeing you guys win. Great looking shirts.
Oh, man.
Ryan and I are looking for a couple of those maybe to come our way.
I got you guys.
I'll be proud to wear it, but good time. And what do we got now? About less than 4 hours for the trade deadline, and the Tigers are still on the clock.
Yeah, you guys were talking about JB and Parker in terms of the setup and how these guys operate. I want to take you a step further. It started that Friday, too, man. It was great. Being at Dispo, having to go inside, reset up, fixing the audio and the sound. You guys have been crushing it lately, man. Definitely appreciate being on your team, Parker, JB.
Absolutely. You guys killed it yesterday. Just a spectacular effort. And again, Oakland Hills, one of the crown jewels, if not the crown jewel of this state, and really in this region.
Yeah.
Just an honor to be out there.
This
The
part of
American
the country.
Cancer Society. Absolutely.
It's true.
No question about it. Guys, I don't want to waste any more time. We'll get right into it today. Dan Miller is going to join us top of hour number 2. We'll talk all Lions with Dan Miller. The players are off today, so nothing new is happening, but just get Dan's sense of how things have gone through 1 week plus of training camp, just a new set of eyes on things out there. We'll be joined by Dan Miller every Tuesday during the season, so we'll just kind of pick his brain at 3 o'clock today. But Braylon, I do want to start with the Detroit Tigers. Still, as of this moment, no trades finalized, but there is a sense that the number of starting pitchers, or the number of teams that need a starting pitcher is long, and that's exactly where the Detroit Tigers market is right now. They can hold out and get the best offer. Maybe it's the Astros, maybe it's the Dodgers, the Braves, the Orioles. So many different teams are involved. Philadelphia, Atlanta, the Tampa Bay Rays, Arizona, Cincinnati, Miami. John Morosi tweeting out that a number of teams included in the Eduardo Rodriguez sweepstakes, in the Michael Lorenzen sweepstakes. That is why, as Morosi says, the Tigers have maintained their high price.
Yeah, definitely. You know, Sky Harris came in and you wanted to give him a full season to kind of assess the team, assess the market, see what the Tigers could bring, see what those players were before he started to make those decisions in the offseason or during the middle of the season. Hey, we need to. So he made those, he's watched those, he's looked at them, he's made his assessments, and now you have that pitcher that's in high demand right now. The only question I wonder is, and I heard this somewhere, is will he overplay his hand? And Matt, you can speak more to that than I can about the Tigers and Sky Harris. Will he, by waiting too long, maybe overplay his hand, or is he okay right now in this situation?
I think, Bray, if he holds and no one wants to give him what he wants, keep him.
Okay.
Then re-sign Eduardo Rodriguez. I'm all for it. I mean, the guy looks like he's an ace. or at least the number 2. And Michael Lorenzen, free agent. You're not losing anything. I really believe Lorenzen will get dealt. Erod, who knows? If you want to pay, you got to give us what we want. And they are after, if the Astros want him, they want the Astros' number 1 catching prospect. Remember, we got Jake Rogers and the Justin Verlander deal, and that didn't turn out the way they wanted. Of course, he got hurt, had Tommy John surgery. That trade was a disaster. Lots of trades that were a disaster. So if it ain't right, like you said yesterday, right? I'm okay if they hold. Big deal. Let them hold.
Maz, as a fan and as a guy that knows the game, especially a Detroit Tigers fan, like, what would you be looking for? Like, in terms of Dylan Eduardo Rodriguez, in terms of potentially Dylan, another pitcher, Michael Lorenzen, what would you be looking for in return for Scott Harris? What would be considered a successful trade in getting rid of those 2 players?
I want a top 100 prospect from your team, from the whole and major leagues. So, in other words, I want a top 5 prospect from whatever team deals them that wants Eduardo Rodriguez. And it could be the Reds, man. The Reds are looking for starting pitching, too. There's some outsiders that are involved in this. The Orioles, they're trying their best. They haven't gotten out of the AL East since 2015, I don't think. It's been that long. But they are in it for the long haul. They've got so much talent, Baltimore does. And they keep bringing them up. And they play here and there. Then they bring them back down. Baltimore is the team I would love to trade with because they have the most everyday players that you could get. We need everyday players.
Gotcha.
That's a great point, too, Matt, as you bring up trade with Baltimore. Let me just put up this John Morosi tweet, which is the update on Justin Verlander. Sources say the Astros, Dodgers, Braves, and Orioles all involved. It's the same 4 clubs that were engaged in other rotation options. They will likely come a point today when Verlander suitors pivot and find pitching elsewhere. So just take these teams, the Astros, the Dodgers, the Braves, the Orioles, and even a bunch of teams that we mentioned before, maybe the Rays or the Reds. Maybe the Padres are now included in this. Would you like to see Verlander or Rodriguez or Lorenzen take who you get back? Take that out of it. You know, just obviously you want the best trade for your team. I understand that. But just as a pure baseball fan, I'm curious. Would you like to see Verlander or Rodriguez or Lorenzen go to the Dodgers?
No.
Go to the Yankees?
No.
Go to whoever?
No.
Or would you like to see some new teams? The Orioles, the Reds, the Padres. Where would you like to see some of these guys go? Give me a call, 313-552-6322, 313-552-6322, or go ahead and hit us up in the chat as well.
I'm always about big name players being in big cities. You know, we talk about so much about Shohei Ohtani. He needs to get out of Anaheim. He needs to be in a big market like a San Francisco or like a LA Dodgers or like a Cohen-owned New York Mets. Shout out to your T-shirt that you have on.
Yeah, I'm in mourning.
100%. You and the rest of that Flushing area. But just thinking about that with the Mets and the big market, excuse me. You want guys in the big market. It's fun to watch a guy like Manny Machado go somewhere, and I know I'm going random, but go somewhere like New York and start hitting bombs. It's fun to watch somebody like Shohei Ohtani go to a big team. Like, Maz, what are the big markets in the MLB? Like, what are the big teams?
You hit them, man.
That's where you want to see the big guys go, man. It's fun when you see the guys that are Mike Trout. I've been talking about this for 2 years. He's the best player in baseball for 10 years. He was buried in the Anaheim Angels. Wouldn't you have loved to see Mike Trout? Well, I'm not going to ask you this. Wouldn't you love to see Mike Trout with the Boston Red Sox going against the Yankees?
There's no doubt about it, and I think you raise a great question, and we can even expound that onto Shohei Ohtani. Would you like to see Shohei Ohtani with the Dodgers or the Mets, or would you like to see him go to Seattle?
I want to see him go to the Cubs.
You know, would you like to see him go to Seattle and play where his hero Ichiro starred for so many years? You know, I mean, don't you? And I guess we say that a lot, too, with you know, with any sport. Hockey is better when the Blackhawks and the Bruins and the Maple Leafs and the Red Wings and you know, the Rangers are all good. You think football is better when the Cowboys and the 49ers and Packers are good, you know, and so on. Baseball's better when the Yankees are good. When you have that football is better when Michigan is good and Texas and USC and all, you know. I mean, it's just the case.
It's because you have memories of when you're younger. You have memories of the big time. So like when you grow older, like the Cardinals. Every once in a while, I check to see who the Cardinals have because when I was younger, They had Mark McGwire. They were one of those teams. It always looks better when you got the stars on big brands.
No doubt about it. Let me go to the phone lines. Bring in Mike. Mike, you are on Woodward Sports Network. How you doing, Mike? What do you say?
I'm all right. How y'all doing?
Doing great, buddy.
Doing
Thanks.
Good. Doing good.
Now, I knew you said you talking Tigers, but I got a Lions question for you.
Okay.
Roderick Martin. What y'all thinking about him? So far, reports I'm seeing, we might forget about Jalen Carter. We might just think about Roderick Martin.
Yeah,
we have no choice.
It is interesting. In just a couple of minutes, we'll play a soundbite that Aaron Glenn had to say about Broderick Martin. This young man is coming along, Mike. We certainly appreciate the call. We'll get you that as soon as we can in the next segment or two. But Broderick Martin is a guy that I think the coaching staff is pleasantly surprised with, and that was if you watch Inside the Den, that is also a player that they targeted. They got him about 40 picks later than they wanted to trade up and get him.
Yep.
And we're completely, extremely excited. Also, you got to look at the offense. I mean, the D-line play last year. The D-line got better and better and better, which means the D-line coach is on point. They are grooming guys to get better. You saw what they did in the last 10 games of the season and 8 in the first 2 games of the season. So, Broderick Martin, man, he's a raw guy, but he has talent. Brad Holmes, we got to trust the mad scientist. He picked this guy, was excited about this guy, got him way after he wanted to get him. He got him for a reason. I got to trust that guy.
That was Dan Campbell's guy.
Yeah.
He really wanted him.
Yeah. I trust those guys, man.
We'll see what Scott Harris does today. Again, if we get some news, we will pass that along for you. And if you're a Tigers fan out there that is a little scared about trading, there is, obviously we'll give you some reasons why. This is a tweet from Emily Walden. And I thought this really was really interesting and shows just how bad Al Avila was at picking players. Traded Justin Verlander for Daz Cameron, Jake Rogers, and Franklin Perez. Only Jake Rogers there has been adequate, but he's not going to be your starting catcher on a championship team. They traded J.D. Martinez for Dual Lugo, Jose King, and Sergio Alcantara. Nothing there. Kinsler traded him away for Montgomery and Hernandez. Nothing there. Alex Avila and Justin Wilson for Isaac Paredes.
Oh.
That's Mad's guy right there.
And Jamer Candelario, who, by the way, just went back to the Cubs.
Yes. And by the way, Isaac Paredes hit number 22 last night.
Yeah, Justin Upton for Grayson Long. Who? Cameron Maben for Victor Alcantara. Who? Nick Castellanos. They did get Alex Lang in that.
Yes.
And Joey Wentz they got for Shane Green, who is still on the team. But my goodness, if you've got whiplash
it's a disaster.
on Tigers trades,
it's a disaster.
It is no secret why this team has been miserable since 2017.
That's the reason why he's no longer here.
Since 2015.
That is true. Well, there's no doubt about that. All right, guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we will talk Detroit Lions with you. What did Aaron Glenn say about Broderick Martin? What does Aaron Glenn think about the Lions defensive line as a whole as it is coached by John Scott Jr.? We'll get to all that. J-Mo spoke to the media as well. Thoughts on Marvin Jones, thoughts about what he brings to the team. And there was one injury yesterday that is a tough blow, and there's one player that is out for the next 6 months. All that and more. Dan Miller coming up top of the hour, but first a message from Cintron.
How would you like to win a $100,000 Vegas getaway? Take your closest friends and live it up in the city that never sleeps. It's the Cintron Energy. Drink it and live it. Purchase a 24-pack today and enter to win the $100,000 getaway at drinkcintron.com/Vegas. And buy your Cintron at your local Meijer. Cintron, the healthier energy drink that tastes great and for the people who desire to look good, feel great, and be the best versions of themselves. Again, that is drinkcintron.com/Vegas.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
By now you know me, Christina Gennari, as the obvious choice in real estate. And you know my website, soldchristina.com, as your #1 resource for buying or selling your home. Myself, along with my amazing staff, pride ourselves on making your home buying and selling experience a relaxing and easy one. Come see why we are the obvious choice. Christina Gennari at soldchristina.com, the obvious choice in real estate.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on Shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward Golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
Hey gang, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com. Had a little fun today. WWE SummerSlam is on Saturday. I had a chance to interview L.A. Knight. Yeah. Let me talk to you. Interviewed him. We'll play some of that for you.
I want to see it.
Yeah, we'll play some of that for you later today.
He's an up-and-coming guy. I didn't know how I felt about him at first. I'm still in that deciding phase, but WWE likes him. They pushing him a lot, and he's got good energy, charisma.
That's it, man.
We'll see
He's
where
got
it goes.
a lot
Yeah,
of pop, man. A lot of pop, a lot of charisma, and that's what it takes. And again, just like Ricochet, who we talked to on Friday, little guy, you know, like.
I didn't say it. He said Ricochet.
But, I mean, he's just not one of these hulking guys,
and that's what we
right?
About too,
you know? Pretty good stuff.
Technician and high flyer.
Absolutely. Bray, I want to get into some Lions talk. We had caller Mike on with us just a minute ago who wanted to know about Broderick Martin and his progress. Here's what the defensive coordinator, Aaron Glenn, had to say about Broderick Martin through 1 week of camp.
That's not an easy job going against Ragnar now. It's not an easy job. But the only way to find out is to put his ass in there and see what he's going to do. That's exactly what we did. And we're going to continue to do that with a lot of guys that we have. That's why our branch is getting, reps are getting St. Brown. You know, to get better, you got to go against good players. That's what we're going to do.
Talking about testing Broderick Martin, they are throwing everything they can at this young man. And again, I go back to this is a player that they just didn't take because he was on the board at the time. This was a player that they identified a round and a half earlier they were going to take him. Then they ultimately took him. He was there. They were excited about it. They got him, and they think this player can help them.
Yeah, you know, when you're drafting a player, you want to draft, like you always talk about, Ryan, it's not about where you go, it's the right fit. Detroit Lions are drafting guys, picking guys that are the right fit for this team. Now, with that being said, you want to find out who these guys are. What type of guy is this person when he's tired? What type of guy is this person when he messes up on a play? What type of guy is a person when he has a little bit of success? What type of guy is a person where you just say, hey, you know what, we trust you, we throw you in a situation and we leave you on your own. You want to see how do they deal with that situation? How do they respond to that situation the next time? Where's their growth at from August to the end of August before the season starts? You throw them in the fire, you find out who they are, and you find out how you have to coach them, how you have to train them, and how you have to keep them up. So they're doing it the right way. You throw them in the fire and see what you get out.
Hey, they've been doing that with all their rookies. Think about it. Jack Campbell plays with the ones. Brian Branch. Look what they've been throwing at Brian Branch. I mean, they're really putting them out there.
Malcolm Rodriguez last year during camp. He became the starter there out the gate.
Yeah, remember Hard Knocks. He was like the darling of Hard Knocks. They said, well, 44 here is going to, whatever number he was last year. They loved him, and that's exactly what they're doing. And we played a piece of audio yesterday where Dan Campbell said, you kind of know if you missed on a draft pick in the first 3 to 4 days you see him, and we haven't. That's great news.
This is true. So my second year with the Cleveland Browns, they drafted a wide receiver. Won't say his name because it's not necessarily a positive story, but they drafted him.
Well, then let me go to Google and check out 2006 Cleveland Browns.
Failed
draft.
Anyway.
So that way you don't have to say it.
So anyway, we draft this guy who's going to end up saying his name, and he second pick. I mean, not second pick, but second round, early. We draft this guy. I didn't care. Well, I wasn't thinking anything of it. He gets in camp. They like this guy a lot. They say, hey, he's going to be this. He's going to be that. Like, hey, you better watch your spot. Hey, he never played. Like, he got to the season, he never played.
I never even heard of him before.
Exactly.
Travis Wilson from Oklahoma.
So he ended up, I think, my senior year, he had a lot of touchdowns at Oklahoma, so they liked him. But they threw him in the fire, and he just wasn't mentally ready for it. He wasn't really mentally ready for it. Couldn't catch passes in preseason. Couldn't remember his assignments. It got to the point where they had to protect him from going in the game, and eventually they traded him and moved on from him. But right away, they threw him in the fire, and they saw it. he just wasn't it.
Look what's happening in San Francisco. I don't know if you guys have been following it.
Yes.
But Trey Lance, I don't know if he can make third string quarterback. They're showing him in drills. And they just, the 49er fans are like, thank you for taking him. The Bear fans is like, thank you for taking him instead of Justin Fields. Remember, they gave up 3 number 1 picks to move up to take Trey Lance. And the kid, he's flaming out.
I've never understood that. We've talked about that. Justin Fields was the number 1 quarterback. Actually, he was the number 1 player coming out of high school, same time as Trevor Lawrence. He was electric when he was at Ohio State. You saw what he was able to do in the pocket, pass the ball. I know it's Ohio State, this, that, and the third, but you saw the proven recipe. Won Big Ten championships. They won a playoff game and got to the national championship, and they beat Trevor Lawrence to do it. He was battle-tested. He was proven. But you chose to go to Zach Wilson out of BYU. You chose to go to Trey Lance because of what happened with Carson Wentz and players like that. Go with what your eyes tell you. Go with what you see. Justin Fields was special in high school. He was special in college, and he's going to be special in the NFL.
I do think it is sometimes, and you'd be able to speak to this more than I would, but I do feel sometimes that these guys get in that room and they panic. Because how many times have we come in here just in trust me, I'm just a guy that talks about this stuff like I'm at the bar. It's not like I'm, not to say I don't know anything. I don't know anything about what goes into player evaluation, okay? I mean, I think if...
We like what we see on TV.
Yeah, exactly. If you're doing this job, not even in like an analyst role like Braylon, who knows way more about football than I'll ever forget.
Too kind.
But what I'm saying is, if you're a host, look, we all have opinions, but we don't have that eye for talent evaluators. If we would be, we'd have our dream job of working in the NFL and being like a general manager. But that's why we're here and not there. But how you can talk yourself in and out of just about any player in a section of the draft, right? I mean, when you're at the top of the draft, we could make a case for the Lions to have this guy at 6, that guy at 6. How many times did we do that alone? These general managers, they get in that room, and I think they panic. And I think sometimes they go against their own eyes, and they go with narrative. Before Justin Fields, I'm trying to think, has there ever been a successful Ohio State quarterback? So you almost buy into that element instead of having the confidence in your own ability to evaluate a player, which is what you should go with. Why are you in that job if you don't have confidence in evaluating that talent alone? They go with, as a system guy. No, it's not that.
A lot of times people are scared to pull the trigger on something. People are scared to change. People are scared to say, you know what, the hell with it. It's got to be a first time for everything, right? So maybe it's this first time. People look at, it's a proven track record. You look at Troy Smith, didn't pan out in the NFL. Terrell Pryor, turned a wide receiver to the NFL. You look at JT Barrett. He's now coaching with the Detroit Lions. Shout out to him. You now look at
Craig Krenzel.
Hey, man, that's still a sore subject.
Right, Art
Schlichter.
Oh, that's true. Art Schlichter. none of them.
What's it? Kirk Herbstreit.
None of them made it.
Listen,
Belisari, Stanley Jackson.
Right.
Joe Germain. The list goes on. None of them.
Hey, Justin Fields and C.J. Stroud are going to change the way people look at Ohio State quarterbacks, I believe, going forward. And we'll see how the new kid does for the Buckeyes going up. But these two guys, if you couldn't draft them, you don't know what the hell you're doing. I mean, you could tell they're going to be special players. C.J. Stroud's going to be the real deal.
Yeah, but even to the point of, and the reason why we're even talking about this is because it was, the videos online about Trevor Lawrence and some of the conversations that are coming out of San Francisco about how bad Trey Lance actually is, pretty striking, and you wonder how you could be that wrong, and not only you picked the wrong player, you not only picked the wrong player. You gave up 3 first-round picks, and you still picked the wrong player. And even if you didn't pick Trey Lance, you were going to pick Mac Jones. So the book is still out on that. But if you gave me the option today, to redraft that.
Right.
Justin Fields is the number 2 overall pick.
Let me ask you this question.
Right?
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question. How much of that was at Ohio State? Justin Fields never ran. He never ran Ohio State. They didn't run him out of the pocket. He stayed in the pocket. And he torched every team in the country. How much of that is if he would have been able to run like that in college and they would have been able to see that? Because that's what these coaches are, and GMs and owners are looking for now. They're looking for Josh Allen. They're looking for Lamar Jackson. They're looking for Justin Fields. They're looking for guys that can get out the pocket, scramble. Justin Herbert, he should move a little bit more. He actually can run. He just doesn't. They want those guys. I guarantee you, if he would have ran at Ohio State, might have went number 2 overall.
And I almost think San Francisco gets more criticism for picking Lance at 3 than the Jets get at picking Zach Wilson at 2.
He's not done yet.
Well, one, he's not done yet, but you could say that all you want. They've got Aaron Rodgers, so they've got time. But at least they picked him in their slot and didn't give up 3 picks.
Right.
When you give up 3 picks to move up and miss a quarterback, that is extremely damning.
Yet they're still one of the top teams in the NFL.
Because they lucked out with their 7th round pick in Brock Purdy.
Hey, it all evens out.
You look at that roster, man, top to bottom, that 49ers roster is a problem. I've been going to look at that again now that they're talking about Brock Purdy. I'm like revisiting the NFC.
Look out.
That 49ers, like, they're outside of the Eagles and maybe a couple other really strong defensive teams. I don't know any team that can compete with that defense in terms of no talented players can start on that team. Like, if that makes sense. Yeah, that's crazy.
They're for real.
No doubt. Guys, I want to turn our attention to Jameson Williams. He did speak with the media yesterday, had thoughts on Marvin Jones and what he brings to the team, and we'll share that injury with you as well to the tight end position. All that and Dan Miller coming up at 3 o'clock, top of the hour, if you are not watching live, top of hour number 2. But first, a message from Les Stanford Chevrolet Cadillac Buick GMC. Les Stanford has expanded into Ferndale, a trusted name for over 55 years. Les Stanford Buick GMC offers the same great service that customers have come to know. You can go check them out on Woodward, just south of 9 Mile. And of course, if you're looking for a Chevy or a Cadillac, Les Stanford on Michigan Avenue in Dearborn, where they have been for 55 years and hopefully 55 more. You can find the brand you want, all GM brands under one umbrella. LesStanford.com. LesStanford.com.
Find new roads.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Gabby is a college student struggling to study for her big exam. Then, she discovered Syntron, a healthy way for her to stay awake and focus. Jennifer frequently has chaotic days like this until she gets online, orders some Syntron, and finds her groove. April visited her local grocery store, purchased a case of Syntron, and entered to win the Syntron 100K Vegas giveaway. Pick up your case of Syntron today at any Meijer location or visit drinksyntron.com/Vegas and enter for the 100K Vegas giveaway.
Play, practice, and party at 5 Iron Golf in Detroit, located inside the Cambria Hotel. Downtown's newest sports bar has taken 13 TrackMan simulators, certified instructors, and a full bar and restaurant. Mention promo code Woodward at checkout for 50% off your first visit, and visit 5irongolf.com to tee up good times. Once again, that is 5irongolf.com.
I just want to be great teammates with my guys, play great football, high intensity, bring energy to the team, offense, defense, special teams, do everything I can for the team.
And that was Jameson Williams speaking to the media yesterday. I can't think of a time where he did speak to the media, so I think that was the first time we've heard from him this camp. But camp is a week old, but I think that was the first time we've heard from Jameson Williams. And look, all reports of him, except for one in the national media. I don't even feel like we need to bring that up, but one in the national media said he dropped some pass or something like that.
He dropped a few passes yesterday, but he had a couple of good catches, and I think he even threw a punch at one of the undrafted safeties.
And I like to see the fire out of him.
Yeah.
But one of the things, too, is that C.J. Gardner-Johnson is in awe of this guy. And maybe that's not the right way to put it, but C.J. Gardner-Johnson is saying this guy is the real deal. And that, to me, was everything you want to hear. That didn't sound like a teammate that just wanted to pump him up. That sounds like a teammate that is like, yeah, we got something here with Jameson Williams.
Yeah, man, you love the fact that his teammates coming to him, and love the fact that his teammates giving him that type of bold of confidence. But this is something that we knew. I mean, I'm excited that we're seeing it at the NFL level. I'm excited that he's seeing it in practice consistently. It's the same guy that was about to help those Alabama Crimson Tide win a national championship over that Georgia team that was completely stacked. He can get down the field. He can run every route. He's electrically fast, man, and he has that dog in him. So I'm excited to see what he's going to do in 7 weeks, man.
No doubt about it. He's definitely going to be like a new player, really.
Yeah.
That kind of gets thrown into your offense there. And another guy I'm really excited to see this year, just to see, he's going to be playing in that DJ Chark role. And it's a new line that's an old line, and that's Marvin Jones. Here's what J-Mo had to say about Marvin Jones Jr.
Big brother, he took me in, and we talk a lot, so he teach me a lot of things. He's been in the league for a long time. Tell me some things he's seen, tell me some things that we don't see on this type of plays and things like that. Let me with defense and a lot of things. So I look at him as a big brother for sure. He took me in, and we had great days for sure.
I look at him like he's a big brother, and Bray, I can't tell you that's exactly, I think, not only the production on the field, but when you signed Marvin Jones in the offseason, you signed him because, yes, the production, but B, the locker room guy that he is.
Yeah, when you're a young guy, man, it doesn't matter how nice of a guy you are or how whatever you want to call it. When you're a younger guy, when you're a young star, you need a veteran that's been there before. You need a guy that can help you understand the thought process, what goes into practice, what goes into the mindset, how hard to work. What even off the field, like life advice. Like the same thing happened for me in year 3. They brought in Joe Jurevicius. Joe Jurevicius at that time won the Super Bowl with the Bucks. Penn State legendary career, but he was a big brother to me. Like, he helped me out, taught me about off the field stuff too. I mean, I did some dumb stuff. A lot of it known too.
Welcome to the club.
Exactly, all of us. But Joe would call. Joe would have a, hey, look, boom, 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 boom. I see him at the facility. If I was too high, he'd bring me back down. If I was not having a good practice, he'd pick my spirits up. You gotta have guys that can do that, but you gotta have guys that you respect to do that. You gotta have guys that you trust to do that. Marvin Jones is a class guy. Marvin Jones has shown nothing but class his whole time in the NFL, and he's going to help J-Mo out a lot.
One of the things too with this Lions team, and I saw on Twitter or X or whatever you call it these days. I don't even know. I think
Twix.
I'll probably still call it Twitter for a long time. But there's video of Isaiah Buggs working with Broderick Martin on drills, technique. That yes, the coaching staff does and all that stuff. Yeah. But when your teammate, when a veteran, when a guy who's been through the wars, for lack of a better way to say it, it pulls you aside and says, "Here, young man, come with me. Let me show you a thing or two." I think that speaks to a camaraderie. That speaks to a connection within a locker room that I just don't think you can. It just doesn't happen. It's got to be organic, and stuff like that is when Chris Spielman and Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes, they talk about getting these locker room guys, Bray. Isaiah Buggs, locker room guy. Yeah. Marvin Jones, a locker room guy. Guys are going to make you better, not only on the field but off of it.
Yeah, because at the end of the day too, it's like it's good to have leaders on the team. It's good to have guys that are veterans, guys that are big brothers, but different positions. But it's a different thing when it's your position. I remember times at camp, like early on, maybe year 1, year 2, or when Joe came in, or set individual. It's getting excited. Practice is over doing 2 days, and you're like, man, it was hot. It was a long practice. I'm about to run off the field, and you feel a little grab at your arm. And it's Joe Jurevicius like, man, no, let's hit the jugs for 100 real quick. Let's do this. So you're about to run off the field, and Dante Stallworth, who's a vet, my big brother and another veteran, hey, no, let's run some over and backs. Let's run some gases. Let's keep our cardio up. It's like okay, cool. It's not that I didn't want to do it. I just think I was a loser.
Right.
Yeah, but now it's like, yeah. Then it becomes embedded into your membrane. You start doing it. And then when I'm in year 6 and I got young guys like Jeremy Curley, hey, no, Jeremy, let's hit the jug machine. Let's do this. Hey, Golden Tate. Now, this is how you want to block on the inside with guys coming in on the outside. So it becomes a part of who you are, and you give it back.
Guys, we got Dan Miller coming up. More Lions talk to get to. But one of the things, just talking about in terms of, the Isaiah Buggs and the Marvin Jones, this team does feel to me a little bit like the 04 Pistons. And I know it's a different
that's a good call.
sport, but they just feel like a group of guys that are together, maybe not wanted elsewhere. Not a lot of high profile free agent signings. You've got C.J. Gardner-Johnson, 1-year deal. Cam Sutton, you don't know what kind of options he had. Mosley comes over. Then you've got, like, the John Kaminsky's of the world, the Isaiah Buggs of the world. You've got Marvin Jones
Sr., yeah.
Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's a 4th-round pick. Hell, nobody wanted Jared Goff. And, I mean, nobody wanted Jared Goff.
True.
You've got all of these players kind of coming together. Josh Reynolds on the
misfits.
Just name the player, and they're a group of people that not a lot of teams were high on or wanted, and it just feels like everything is coming together. This team is as close to the 04 Pistons as I can remember, and we know how that ended up.
Yeah, like when you're on any team, any sport, any team, it doesn't matter. Like how you build chemistry and camaraderie is you find a common goal. You find something that you guys have in common. You find what you guys are striving for. And with the Lions, it's the same thing. You got a bunch of guys that are considered not necessarily superstar talents, but overachievers. And all these guys are like, we're going to show these dudes what time it is and who we are. Hell, it's going to be fun. Even Dan Campbell, he's the one that sets the tone. It's like nobody wanted me as coach except Detroit, so I got something to prove and show you guys. That's where it stems from. All those guys are like-minded. That's where they connect, is the disrespect people have given them.
That's a great point, man. Throw the head coach in there, too.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
everybody
man.
thinks he's a meathead, eating kneecaps or biting kneecaps. And
do you see that interview?
This guy? Yeah.
Him and Brad Holmes, and I forgot who was talking with them. It was, SI, and it was funny. And Brad Holmes was like, everyone said this guy's a meathead, but, he's really breaks down this, he does this. I wish they still thought he was a meathead because he is showing what he was. And did you see what he said? He wanted to have a real lion on the sideline. This is the truth. This is from Mike Florio of Pro Football Talk. Dan Campbell wanted to have a real lion patrolling the sidelines at Ford Field.
But they looked down upon that. The Tigers back in the 80s, they did have the real tiger. Remember Lance Parrish and all those guys taking a picture with the baby? They were holding tigers, baby tigers. Yeah, but Dan Campbell wanted to have a live lion on the sideline. The league apparently frowned upon that.
There's a Seahawk out there.
That's Peter.
Yeah.
That's Peter. This happened with the Miami Dolphins. Happened with the Miami Dolphins.
Flipper used to be in the back end zone.
After that, they were like, I can't do this anymore. But Colorado, I think they got rid of Buffalo. Georgia, they told them last
Ralphie
year.
to Buffalo.
Exactly. Last year, they told Georgia that the Bulldog thing, like Peter went after them. So
Longhorn, the
Texas.
Texas.
A lion. That's too big.
Yeah. I don't know about. I don't know if I'd want a lion either patrolling the sidelines.
I would.
You might have a contract dispute if something maybe nipped.
I'm only watching games in the suite, and even then, you can get got to.
How about the flying lion?
Just give us an example.
Do you remember the flying lion at the Silverdome?
No, I don't remember that. I don't remember.
Honestly, there'd be this big lion.
No, I just want you to.
This big balloon lion just floating around the Silverdome.
I do remember that.
And he would crash into like the club seating. There wasn't many club seatings, but he would always crash. The Silverdome people know what I'm talking about, but that was the greatest.
So
love the flying lion.
It's funny you mentioned the flying lion in the Super Bowl because I cannot describe for you. I am working on this, just this look back piece. It's taken me forever because there's just so much to get through. But it's a story just looking back at the 1991 Lions that season because there's so much.
Love it.
I'm going through this. I cannot tell you if you closed your eyes and just listened to the sound bites what these guys were saying, Jerry Ball, Lomas Brown,
Jerry
Herman
Ball.
Moore, Chris Spielman, they were saying the exact same things in 91 prior to the season that this team is saying prior to the season. It is almost verbatim. We haven't won anything yet. It's put up or shut up time. Yeah. It's time to go. It's all this stuff. It is incredible. It is incredible.
That team.
We are not the same old Lions.
Oh, wow.
Can you believe that? We are not the same old Lions.
Restore the roar.
Benny Blades. Wayne Fonts. If we get, after the 45-0 loss to Washington, Wayne Fonts, this is a good football team, and you're going to see this football team come back. They will not, and all this, and then they went on to win 5 in a row. I mean, it's crazy how the similarities are. By the way,
and that team was together a lot. Yeah.
By the way, total obscure situation. Going through this video, hours worth of video, and I just cannot tell you how much I love Jerry Ball.
93, maybe.
Number 9. It reminded me how much Jerry Ball was an influence here in Detroit. Everybody loved Jerry Ball. Total fan favorite. I have no idea where Jerry Ball is right now. Where
we'll find him.
Where is a guy this guy was so beloved here. And just the fact that he's just kind of not around is unfathomable to me.
Yeah, Uncle Jerry was that deal, man. Like he was like the big teddy bear with all the jokes, man. I call him Uncle Jerry because he played with my dad. We both came to the Lions at the same time, and then he's continued on. But his smile with the gap in the curly hair, it was the best.
Oh man,
it was the best.
He got
after
injured
you too. Yeah.
He got injured that year, and he was pissed because it was a cheap shot, low blow hit that apparently was a legal shot block according to the NFL, but the audio that comes from that, Wayne Fonts, and
he was sick.
Oh,
do you remember who hit him or no?
Somebody from the Jets. I don't know, running back from the Jets or little guy. Just watch. That's where I am right now. Might have been Bruce Harper. Yeah, I don't know. That's kind of where I am right now. But where is Jerry Ball, man?
Where'd he go?
That guy is. Oh man, that guy was just one of the fan favorites. I'll never forget his name as long as I live.
That Jerry team, Ball. Man. Look what they did to the upcoming Dallas Cowboys. That was
and they beat them twice that year too.
They beat daylights.
They beat them 34-10 in the regular season too. So they out 34-10.
Was that a Monday night game?
38-6. So they beat the Dallas Cowboys that year 38-34, 72 to
something low.
72 to 16.
Yeah.
They beat the Dallas Cowboys that year 72-16.
With a young Troy
in the
Aikman.
2 games.
Ain't beat them since.
Incredible
we
stuff.
gotta get it back this year.
Yeah, right.
We gotta get it back this year.
Guys, Shane Zylstra, knee injury, out 6 months.
That
Terrible
sucks.
blow for Shane Zylstra. That does suck. I mean, as soon as T.J. Hawkinson got traded, he really was one of the guys that kept that together, stepped up, caught 3 touchdown passes, I think, in one game.
Yeah,
so,
against the Jets.
Terrible stuff there.
Glad they drafted Sam Laporta now, huh?
No doubt. No doubt. Guys, a couple things I want to get to. The Super Bowl is going to be simulcast. We'll do that. We'll go around the NFL. Also, Dan Miller coming up at 3 o'clock. And we'll get you a trade deadline update if there is one, plus more. But first, a message from Planet Fitness.
Yes, because summertime is a great time to join Planet Fitness and beat low E. And Planet Fitness is home to your judgment-free zone where anyone, and I do mean anyone, can feel comfortable and work on their fitness goals. At Planet Fitness, you'll experience a squeaky clean gym with tons of equipment, a full body workout in just 30 minutes in the 30-minute circuit, plus all memberships include fitness training. Now, with more than 50 convenient Metro Detroit locations around Detroit and thousands more around the world, no matter where you are, there is a Planet Fitness nearby for you to work out. For more information or to join today, visit your local club, or as always, check them out online at planetfitness.com.
Can't get enough Woodward sports content? Head over to woodwardsports.com right now for up-to-date sports articles and great entertainment news. We have the best writers, bloggers, and coverage all at your fingertips. Head to woodwardsports.com right now to experience all Woodward Sports has to offer.
at work, and at home. We're there with smarter security solutions, featuring complete automation with customized alerts and more. For over 90 years, we've been the company that's been counted on to protect what matters most, all with personalized service and care. Right now, for a limited time, receive a free video device plus free installation with a new home system. Guardian Alarm. We protect Michigan.
We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media. Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit.
Woodward Sports Network on a Tuesday, August 1st. Kind of feels like summer is over a little bit.
It's not.
I know. It's what?
It's not. It's going to go through September.
Right. Well, the weather-wise, yes.
It's nice to cool off a little bit.
But summer to me is a mindset. You're thinking about the kids going back to school. Maybe you have a fall athlete. Like football starts next Monday, I think, for the high schools and grade schools, the local cities around the area. Ken Brown of WJR fame says that it was Jets fullback Brad Baxter who hurt Jerry Ball.
I like Brad Baxter.
F.U. Brad Baxter.
Yeah, now F.U.
J-E-T-S.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that, Ken Brown. We appreciate it. Yeah, but guys, we do have a little bit of breaking news that we're going to get to, and it does come from the NFL, Tom, and it involves your New York football Jets.
Hey, what have I told you about the whole Sean Payton roasting the Denver Broncos coaching staff led by Nathaniel Hackett last season? He came out and he said it was a clown show. It was the worst coaching he's ever seen in NFL history. Then he backs out. We played the cuts yesterday for you. Ryan did not like that he backed down. I said it from day one. You don't break the coach's conduct. Let's put up that tweet. Nathaniel Hackett coming out today and basically saying, I was surprised. I was taken aback. Go ahead, Ryan. Take it from here.
Yeah, here it is. Jets offensive coordinator Nathaniel Hackett, in his first comments since Sean Payton took aim at him, says he feels Payton violated the coach's code, was expecting it ahead of week 5. Quote, almost thankful we got it out of the way. We understand the way certain people feel and think, end quote. I understand that. I do feel like, though, it is a little sensitive, too.
No, it's horse shit. I think it was horse crap what Peyton did. I said it then. I'll say it now. And I know you guys are spinning it that he's protecting his quarterback. You know, he's a big boy. Russell Wilson can protect himself, and he didn't have to listen. Nathaniel Hackett did not completely ruin Russell Wilson's year last year. He sucked on his own.
So I didn't get a chance to talk about with you guys. This is my thoughts on that. I think Nathaniel Hackett made his comeback to Sean Payton, and I think Sean Payton even going after him. I think they were both right. Now, like you said, I don't like that he backed down off the comment. You said what you said.
That's it, man.
You said what you said.
I agree.
To get the team around you to support, so you know that you had their back. They know that you have their back. Now they're ready to play for you. They're ready to get the season cracking. But then you kind of back up on the point. If I'm a player, I'm like, what's this? At the end of the day, he was talking about his job as a head coach last year. What was everybody talking about when they weren't talking about Dak, when they weren't talking about Aaron Rodgers, when they weren't talking about Tom Brady? They were talking about how bad that job was in Denver. They were talking about what a poop show it was in Denver, from players in the locker room, off the field, Russell Wilson, Nathaniel Hackett, everybody included. It was a horrible job from start to finish, and he went after that. He didn't go after him as an offensive coordinator. He didn't say he wasn't a great offensive coordinator. He says he wasn't a head coach, and everybody's not made to be a head coach. Now, on Nathaniel Hackett's side, I like what he said. I like exactly what he came back, and I agree with him. Both things can be true, and I support both sides.
I'm sick about this. We got the breaking news.
Side note: the worst.
It's not a side note.
The worst has happened.
Can we get a little bit of a sounder here?
The worst has happened if you're a baseball fan.
If you're a Tigers fan, I think this is devastating news. Justin Verlander, according to Jeff Passan, has a deal in place to go back to the Houston Astros.
You knew they were going to do it. F you,
Sources
Astros.
familiar with an agreement tell ESPN. I will tell you guys.
Go to hell.
Justin Verlander is going into the Hall of Fame as a Houston Astro.
Go to hell.
Not only is he on the books this year, he's on the books next year, and then there's a team option. There's some option for 2025. So you're talking about for the next 2, potentially 3 seasons, Justin Verlander is going to be a Houston Astro. If they win one more World Series, they even get to one more World Series,
please,
it's done. He's in the Hall of Fame as a Houston Astro. Braylon Edwards,
2021. Well, you know what I'm about to say right now.
You can say it.
So you might as well say it for me. I told you Justin Verlander was going in the Hall as a Houston Astro. It was too good to be true down there, what they got building. He could have won another Cy Young if he didn't get hurt. The one year they won 2 World Series, one with an asterisk by it. Those almost another no-hitter. Like, it's just stacking up. When you look at his body of work in that short period of time, he's killing it. He's killing it, and he still had time, and he's going back. I thought he had a chance to be in there as an Astro without going back, and now he's going back. So,
hey, Mets, thanks for nothing.
What an incredible disappointment. Are the Mets one of the biggest disappointments
ever
in baseball history?
Yes.
You talking about Scherzer and Verlander and $300+ million of a payroll, and now to get rid of Scherzer and Verlander, and man, I'll tell you. But if you're a Tigers fan, yes, Verlander goes back to Houston, but I don't think Houston had a lot of goods that you wanted either in return. So, Baltimore still is out there. They have to make a move. That is really the team that I think you really would like to see Eduardo Rodriguez or
both.
Michael Lorenzen.
Maybe both.
I don't know if you go both, but that could really be a spot that you could make some headway because Baltimore is still loaded with
Think
talent.
about this. Is it not the perfect foil? Texas gets Max. Houston gets JV. Both in the same freaking league. Both in the same freaking division.
Yeah.
They're going to kill each other.
It's definitely going to be fun to watch. You know what, Maz? I know you appreciate this. Everybody looked at George Steinbrenner as a guy that just bought championships. They looked at him as a guy that just dropped the luxury tax, didn't care, would pay guys whatever, stick it to the rest of the league. Yeah, he did that, but he also understood baseball. He also knew the managers.
Bought the right people.
He also bought the right people around him. So, yeah, they had a bunch of stars making a ton of money, but they had good chemistry, good skills. They had the right players, the right position, the right bullpen. You can't just go spend $400 million and think you're going to win it. Ask the Yankees now. Ask the Mets now. You can't do it. And if you want to say the Dodgers do it like Steinbrenner did.
It is. You think about the money aspect, and it's hard not to think about the money aspect of it. I saw the breakdown for Scherzer, not the breakdown for Verlander, but they did break down Scherzer's money. By being traded from the New York Mets to the Houston Astros, Max Scherzer, just by the uniform change, will save himself $3 million. That's a lot of freaking money. A year. That is a lot of freaking money.
Yeah.
And this year it's because, and the reason why it's not $6 million is because he's playing half the year in Houston. But to save $3 million, like if you are a potential free agent, you can't tell me that doesn't come into play. So that's an awful lot of money, $3 million. I don't care if you make $250 million or not.
And how many years is he under contract for? How many?
2.
So 2. So that's $9 million.
Yeah.
It's $9 million.
Right. Think about that. Just by the uniform change. Mass, you're sick over there.
I am.
Yeah.
I'm disappointed. The same effing teams are doing this. Go Dodgers.
There we go.
No, I take that back.
I know. I was waiting for it. You know who's going to win it this
year.
Go
Rays. Please, Rays.
Go Braves.
Please, Rays. Please.
How do the Braves do it the right way?
They're fine. I'm sick of them, too.
Okay.
Well, the Braves are...
Freaking Yankees, please sell, by the way. Sell. Sell!
The Braves are an interesting team because if you go back to... they completely traded half their team and acquired these pieces to win that World Series. The team that won the World Series was almost a completely different team than the one that started opening day.
Yeah, 2 years ago they had 4 injuries and 3 of them major stars in the outfield, so they had to revamp their team.
Acuna was out.
Acuna, exactly.
Best player in baseball.
Who's the guy that they picked up and got paid twice from the Cubs? He helped them out that year. It'll come to me. The outfield, right field, whatever. They figured it out that year, man.
They're a very good team.
Yeah, they are.
And still nothing new on the Detroit Tigers.
3 hours to go.
Yeah, 3 hours
if
to
you're
go.
watching live.
Well, now that this domino has fallen, you would expect a Lorenzen or Rodriguez to go really quickly. Really quickly now, I would assume, now that Verlander's gone. Verlander was the big fish.
Yeah.
And now you've got Eduardo Rodriguez and Michael Lorenzen. And you own both those guys. You know, so the Detroit Tigers are going to have some activity, hopefully, by the time our show's over. 2
minor leaguers to the Mets. Don't know who they are. Don't really give a damn.
But again, for Steve Cohen, and I heard somebody say that, I think it was somebody on ESPN yesterday, one of the baseball guys, when you have an owner like Steve Cohen, who is just a gazillionaire, it doesn't matter. Not only does it help you buy players, it helps you sell players too. It's much easier.
You take hits.
Well, yeah, it's much easier for you to, I think they're eating $35 million of Scherzer. I think they're going to probably eat some of Verlander too.
Go get that from Aaron Rodgers.
Exactly. I mean, when you have the opportunity to get rid of players, you're like, okay, go ahead.
No problem.
Go ahead, no problem.
No problem.
You're not hanging on for dear life to see what can come of it. Parker, you had something?
According to Broder, apparently Lorenzen is about to be dealt to the Baltimore Orioles.
That'd be great.
There you go, Maz.
He's probably looking at the other damn thing. He's probably looking at the wrong thing. You got to make sure. Make sure you're on the right people.
Yeah, you got to make sure.
There's a fake JP Morosi out there. Don't quote that one.
Yeah, I don't know.
I do believe the Orioles are the place the Tigers are going to go to. I do believe that, and I think Erod. Who knows where the hell he could go? He might wind up in Cincinnati for all we know. But Baltimore's going to get one of them.
Did you see Cincinnati's general manager go after? What was that? He went after Mad Dog Russo.
Oh yeah,
he went. That was lights out. He could be an actor.
Oh yeah, that was great.
That was great. That was great.
So we'll see, guys. We're expected to be joined by Dan Miller. We'll do that next. But first, a message from Lady Jane's Haircuts for Men. You can walk into any Lady Jane's for an award-winning haircut experience and automatically enter for your chance to win not one but 2 vehicles of your choice, courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. That's right, 2 cars, one for you, one for your wife, your girlfriend, your best bud, whoever you want to give it to. Lady Jane's open 7 days a week. You can walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome.
Wicked awesome.
We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports. Detroit's winning sports network.
Big Boy Strawberry Fest has officially arrived, and we're here to show you the very best flavors of the season. Satisfy your sweet tooth with our deep-fried vanilla Oreos, strawberry hot fudge cake, and a slice of our classic strawberry pie. But that's not all. Cool off on a refreshing summer splash salad, or savor the flavors of our chicken Caesar wrap and strawberry bacon chicken wrap. And for breakfast lovers, don't miss out on our strawberry hotcakes or our mouth-watering red velvet waffle. Strawberry Fest is something for everyone. Celebrate the sweet season with us at Big Boy.
We aren't quite sure if they consume more beer or sports. Either way, the heavyweights are here. Live on Woodward Sports, daily 5 to 7 p.m.
Hour number 2 of the program here, Woodward Sports Network. Ryan Ermanni, Braylon Edwards, Tom Mazawey. We got JB. We got Parker. We'll get Dan Miller in just a couple of minutes. But again, the breaking news right now, Justin Verlander traded to the Houston Astros. The Mets are going to receive an outfield prospect, Drew Gilbert, from the Astros. He's one of the prospects. The other prospect is not known
He'll
yet.
suck too.
And it is also not known how much money the Mets will eat of Justin Verlander's contract this year. It is weird to have the Mets and the Yankees, two of the highest priced teams in Major League Baseball, just have terrible years.
I watched the Yankees last night against Tampa. I literally watched it like I was watching like a preseason game. That's how listless that team is. They are so... Giancarlo Stanton, he can't hit a little league pitch anymore. He's batting 195. Giancarlo Stanton is batting 195. The Derek Jeter replacement, Anthony Volpe, strikes out 3 out of 4 times. He's batting 210. Yeah. Aaron Judge plays on 1 foot, and he's one of the great players in the league. Other than that, they have nobody on that team. They better not be buying. They better be selling. And the Mets, they just were an unmitigated disaster. That's all there was to it.
Giancarlo Stanton is always fun to watch when he hits a bomb because nobody hits the ball further, including Shohei Ohtani.
He's great looking to watch.
But he is a product of the now MLB. It's like it doesn't matter how many times you strike out as long as you hit a couple home runs. He's only chasing home runs. And
he hardly has any.
But that's all he's looking for.
So the Mets and the Yankees, according to Spot Track, I never can say that properly.
I'm with you.
But the Mets, $344 million. The Yankees, $278 million. 1 and 2 in terms of payroll. And we'll see what the Mets do, but we'll see what the Yankees do. But the Mets are selling like crazy. The Mets spend, outside of the Yankees, $100 million more than any other team in baseball. There is a $100 million separation between the Mets payroll at 1 and the Padres payroll at 3.
Crazy thing about the Yankees is, going back to New York, my apologies, is we saw this last year, Maz. We knew this last year. You saw how great Aaron Judge played last year, how expensive that roster was. If Aaron Judge didn't play that great last year, that team wouldn't have made the playoffs. Nobody showed up for the Yankees last year, whether it was Stanton, whether it was Cole, whether it was Cole ended up winning games or strikeouts. They couldn't win games if it wasn't for Aaron Judge. So we saw that last year. He gets hurt again this year. It was only a matter of time, but that team fell apart.
We're going to get Dan Miller in just a couple of minutes here. We're having some trouble bringing him up. We'll get to him, though. 1,
2, 3. Just looking at this Houston Astros stuff. With
Justin
Verlander.
This is a really interesting day because you feel like the Tigers have an opportunity to really make an impact with these two guys, because starting pitching has not been their problem. It is not their problem, and it won't be their problem in the future. These guys need bats. They need to be able to hit the baseball. They need to be able to score runs. They cannot score runs right now. And hell, Braylon, if this team could score any runs whatsoever, they would be in first place in the American League Central. Pitching has not been their problem.
Yeah, they sound like the Denver Broncos last year. If they could have scored some points, they'd have been much better. But how does Scott Harris have an unsuccessful Tuesday and trade deadline?
Well, I don't know if that'll be determined today, because even if he holds, right, and he's not going to hold. I think he's going to get rid of Rodriguez and Lorenzen. But just for the argument's sake, let's just say he holds. We know he's not buying. But if they hold, they're 6 games back of the Minnesota Twins. They play the Minnesota Twins 6 times over the next 2 weeks. Things could get really interesting. You throw a 5-1 spot up against the Twins in that time, things could get really interesting. So are you going to tell me if they don't trade these guys and the Tigers go, hell, even if they go 4-2 against the Twins in that time and pull to within 4 games with a month and a half to go in the season,
it's not bad.
You're going to be pretty excited down the stretch.
It goes back to what you said when we were back in March. You were saying, hey, man, just keep it interesting through the summer so we can get to that, so we can get to the Detroit Lions season. Well, it looks like they may be doing more than that. They keep it interesting all the way to October.
Yeah, so
September. Let me not get ahead of myself.
Listen, there is nobody that Scott Harris is going to trade for today in terms of baseball prospects where you're going to see me jump on this table.
Yeah.
There's not one player that he's going to trade for prospect-wise, and I'm going to be, the Tigers really got this, 5-tool player from Baltimore.
The Mets supposedly got their top prospect and a fringe prospect. So
you know what
we'll
I think
see
of
how
top
it
prospects? You know what I think of top prospects?
What do you think of top
prospects? This is what I think of top prospects. Jamer Candelario, Troy Montgomery, Wilkel Hernandez, Dual Lugo, Jose King, Sergio Alcantara, Victor Alcantara, Joey Wentz, Travis Dimitri, Paul Rishon, and Alex Lang. How many of those guys are still on the Tigers? That's what I think of. Two.
This man was a bona fide scrub. He can't play.
Right, who was that? That was awesome. So do we have Dan Miller?
We do.
We do have Dan Miller.
Dan says he could see us.
Okay, Parker doesn't see him. Dan, I'm so sorry. I'm going to take a break. When we come back, we'll get Dan Miller. First,
I can only do so much.
A message from Randy Wise.
Oh, good old Randy Wise. Let's tell you about them. What could be better than watching
baby.
celebrities like Braylon and D-Mac play golf? Well, playing golf by yourself and being treated like one of those guys. Stop at any Randy Wise dealership for your chance to play golf like a celebrity. VIP transportation and golf, free golf to one of Michigan's best tracks and a tasty steaks afterwards. Compliments of Fairway Packing Company. Got to meet them guys yesterday. Make the wise decision. Get to Randy Wise today for your chance to win and play golf like a celebrity.
Woodward Avenue, the first paved road in America. Woodward Sports, the first sports network born in Detroit and made for Detroit. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
Welcome back, Woodward Sports Network, woodwardsports.com, fox2detroit.com if you're watching live. Dan Miller, the voice of the Lions, Fox 2 Sports Director, kind enough to give us a couple of minutes here. Dan, how are you, my friend?
I'm doing well. How you guys doing today?
Doing good. Dan, obviously
What's up,
I want to hit you with Lions and your observations, but I first want to get your reaction to Justin Verlander going back to the Houston Astros on a trade. I think if Verlander makes it to a World Series, I mean, he's under contract for another year and a half. Does he go into the Hall of Fame as an Astro?
I mean, I think there's a pretty good chance of that, considering the fact that he'll have won 3 World Series there. I don't know all the ins and outs. That seems to be a fluid situation that people know more about than I do. But, I mean, there's a good chance he's going to have 3 rings with them at some point here. But I don't know, what I've seen shifting rules as to how that thing works.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is interesting, though, something to keep an eye on. And I'm sure we'll check in with you later today as you have updates on the Tigers and their trades with Eduardo Rodriguez and Michael Lorenzen. But, Dan, I do want to ask you about the Lions. Team had a day off today, but just overall, through 1 week of camp, what have you seen out there from these guys? Anything catch your eye?
Yeah, it's just business. I mean, it's, aside from Shane Zylstra getting hurt yesterday, which was unfortunate, it's just been guys out there doing their jobs, getting ready. There's obviously been some talk about all the expectations that they have on them this year, but also the realization that they haven't done anything and they need to go out there and earn things now. Being the favorite in the division won't put anything on the scoreboard when you get to Kansas City on the opening Thursday night. So I like some of the veteran leadership that they've gotten, getting guys like Cam Sutton and C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think that's really going to help that defense, getting Tracy Walker back. And then from there, it's just keeping an eye on some of these young players and their development and whether or not they can come along. Aiden's going to be fine, but guys like Josh Pascal and, right now Jerry Jacobs starting at that other corner spot, I think he's a guy to keep an eye on. Kirby Joseph, does he continue to ascend? I think there's so many young guys on that defense. Levi Onwuzurike is practicing. Ali McNeil has changed his body and, looks like a different guy out there. So I think one of the things that can really kind of give some rocket power to this offense is young guys taking the next step this year, and they've got so many of them playing. Then that doesn't even take into consideration Jack Campbell, who's probably going to end up starting, and Brian Branch, who is really pushing for playing time as well.
Hey, Dan, you mentioned Josh Pascal. You had a chance to feature him on Fox 2 yesterday. I forget about this guy. I totally forget about him as part of a unit that he could really contribute this year. What kind of sense did you get from Josh Pascal about his ability to contribute this year?
I'm excited about him because of the way the coaches feel about him. And it can't really be based on a whole lot that we saw last year because we didn't see much last year. Had a couple sacks in the late season game against the Bears, but for the most part, didn't play a ton, was hurt during camp. I don't think he ever felt like himself. But if you go back to when they drafted him in the second round, they saw this guy as an inside-outside player that could provide some inside rush on the quarterback, also shift outside if you needed him to. He's versatile in that fact. And they absolutely love the kid. They love his leadership. He's a multi-time captain at Kentucky, and they just feel like he can, bring a lot to this football team. But being healthy this year is what you hope makes all the difference and allows him to be the kind of player they thought they were drafting. So I got an eye on him. And just because of all the things that I heard from the coaches after they picked him, now I want to see, okay, you're healthy, you're here, you're ready to go. Let's see how this thing works out. And I think, to your point, he's one of the guys, again, go back to young players, that if they can take a next step, man, that's just fuel for that defense getting better, which it has to get better than where we've seen it the last 2 years.
Dan, great talking to you as always. I'm going to be very predictable and ask about the position I'm going to ask about, and that's the wide receiver position. Jamison Williams, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, high praise for Jamison Williams. Coaches are coming out and giving him a lot of good praise, too, over the past week, last month or so. What are they saying at camp that make people say this about Jamison Williams? Is he really taking that step? Or are people more confident in him?
Yeah, I think there's a measure of trying to kind of boost him up a little bit in some of that. Look, he's had some ups and downs at camp. Well publicized. Yesterday, he had earlier this week, had a couple of drops out there, and then made a nice block on a run by Jahmyr Gibbs. So there were some ups and downs, but all in all, I think there's got to be more concentration from him, more securing the football from him. We've got to see he and Goff come together a little bit. Look, the physical tools are stunning. His speed is otherworldly. It is, when you see him with the ball in his hands and he takes off, there's just not many guys that can do what he can do. But it is running the right route, catching the football, securing it, and then making a move and going. And I think all those things are things that he still has to work on. Look, I still think they're really excited. And Braylon, you know how it is. We ride the roller coaster with this guy. It's like somebody says he has a good practice and people are up on him. People says he has a bad practice and people question whether or not he's dedicated or whatever. We're not going to know until week 7 what we're dealing with here, and then week 8, week 9, week 10, week 11, and on throughout the season. I think, look, the onus is on him to get this thing done. The onus is on him to get good work and practice in during training camp when he's allowed to be with his teammates. And, I see him out there working hard. I just think a little more consistency in terms of catching the ball is probably what you're looking for. But the physical tools, like I said, there's not many guys that do what he can do. And I would love to see it all come together for him.
Yeah, quick follow-up to that. How much of Marvin Harrison Sr. being here, how much is that going to help him through this process of the first 6 weeks of the season? I think, how much is it going to help him?
If their relationship is what they say it is, if he says, Marvin Jones is kind of taking me on as a little brother, I think that's a great thing, because you will not find many pros out there that you'd rather have a young player latch on to than a Marvin Jones, who understands what this league is, has been through tough times, has had to fight for everything that he's gotten, dedicates himself to the game. It's important to him, keeps himself in great shape. Look, if you're a young player and you're on a team with, I would say, Marvin Jones, Amon-Ra St. Brown, and I'd even say Khalif Raymond, guys who have been through it. One's a 4th-round pick. One had to play his way, kind of through different guys in Cincinnati and then got a big contract and made good with it in Detroit. And the other guy, Khalif Raymond, bounced around this league, and now he's a part of this football team. Had a really good year last year. If you look at those guys and say, you know what, that work ethic is something I can learn from, I think you're in a great shape. But it's up to that individual to understand what's being presented to them and do it. And he's going to do it his own way. Maybe he does it, working with the Marvin Jones. Whatever it is, the recipe is there, in my mind, for him to have great guys, great mentors, great examples of how to do things in this league.
Dan, the first time I heard this term, it was by Joe Jurevicius, a former teammate of mine, the Cleveland Browns. He said, a pro's pro. I was like, Joe, what the hell is a pro's pro? People that pros respect. They look at the way they approach the game. They look at the class that they have the game. They look at the dedication. They say, you know what? That guy is a pro. It sounds like he's surrounded by a bunch of pros.
Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, look, everybody knows what Khalif Raymond's work ethic is like. 202 balls on the jugs machine after every single practice, bar none. He's out there. And the pride that he takes in his effort. We talked about Marvin and what he's been through and the way that he has presented himself since we've gotten to know him here in Detroit. And then, sit down sometime and talk to Khalif about what he's been through. All these guys. I mean, look at what Khalif went through with the Jets, dropping punts, not being able to field them cleanly, thinking he didn't belong in the league. And then all of a sudden, he lands in Detroit and he finds things, but he just keeps grinding. He's one of those guys that will never allow himself to get comfortable. Look, Braylon, you've been there. You understand it. You know it. When you see it, you know it. There's a respect certain guys have for it. Everybody approaches it different, but man, it's so much of this league is getting out of it what you put into it. And you've got some great examples of guys who put a lot into it right there in that position group.
Hey, Dan, can J-Mo still be with the team at all once the season starts? What happens once that suspension kicks in?
He's got to leave after final cuts. He cannot be in the building.
Man.
There is either week 3 or 4 where he is allowed to come back into the building and work, not with the team, but take advantage of team facilities. It's either week 3 or 4 where he can petition the league to come back in there. I'm not sure which one. But so the answer to your question is, for part of that time, he will be not with the team and not allowed to be with the team. But then there is a period of time where he's allowed to come back. And I think that's important because you want him to be able to hit the ground running in week 7 and not just, try to find his feet under him in week 7. So there is a ramp-up period there where even though he will be under suspension, he will be allowed back in the building, not on the practice field, not working out with his teammates, but at least there and able to take advantage of the facility.
Okay. How about this kid Denzel Mims that comes over from the Jets from Baylor? 3 years, he's a top draft choice. That is one of their top draft choices. What have you seen in him, and do you think he has a shot at making this team?
I think he has a shot, obviously, because I think there's a spot that's open right now with, the fact that Jameson's not going to be there for the first 6 weeks. Look, he's got the size, the big guy. He's got the speed. I don't know that we've seen anything yet on the practice field that blows you away. I think he's been there and consistent. And I'll say this, look, he's probably just figuring things out here.
Yeah.
He's obviously been through a lot, talks about the fact that he's got a chip on his shoulder. I would kind of reserve judgment on him for a couple of weeks as he's a week here into figuring out the playbook and figuring out Jared Goff and getting a relationship with him and an understanding with him about where they are on the field. You can see the physical tools, the size and the speed are absolutely there. And he runs like, again, he's not Jameson, but he runs like a lot of guys in this league don't run. He's a sub 4.4 guy, and that's really impressive. So let's give him a little bit of time and see what happens. But again, A lot of baggage there from what happened in New York, but the nice thing is you have an opportunity here to have a clean slate, fresh start, go out there and prove to this team what you can do. And they're clearly giving you the opportunity for it. And there is a chance to make the roster. It's not like this thing is locked down. There's guys that are competing here.
Hey, Dan, I wanted to ask you a little something about one of your former teams that you used to like, the Washington Commanders, former Redskins, and their whole new makeup now. I thought of you when this finally went through and Daniel Snyder passed the torch along to Josh Harris now. What's your take on Washington, name change, all of that kind of stuff? Where do you think they land? Are they going to knock down RFK finally and park their stadium there? What's your take on the whole D.C. scene?
Let me say this. I've spoken to a lot of friends and family back in D.C., and it was a day for a party when that ownership finally ended. And I was kind of leaving D.C. right as Snyder was coming in, so I never really had to deal with them. But I had a lot of friends that in the business that I talked to often, and it was miserable. And we've all heard the stories, and it was, one of the worst ownership groups that we've ever had in any sport. And there's all sorts of reasons from that, from, office culture to apparent financial, issues to, him and issues with females that worked there and just a bad culture within the building. And, just running through coaches and being, meddling and things like that. And so I'm happy for the people there that are rid of that and have a chance to now just move forward and try to get this thing back to being one of the proud franchises that it was for a long time in the National Football League. So, they will have a new stadium. There's no doubt. They desperately need one. That thing obviously will take some time. But the good thing is nobody wanted to deal with Snyder. So now these doors will open, whether they do it in Virginia, which I've heard about, whether they do it in D.C., whether there's someplace in Maryland other than where it is now where they'd want to do it. I mean, you got a lot of, between the DMV there, you got a lot of space that you might be able to do it. And now I think people will be more than willing to work with them on that. And it's a good day for the NFL, and it's a good day for people in Washington that are fans of that team.
Just put it back where RFK is, to crying out loud.
Hey, Dan, final question for you, and sticking with the owners. Martha Ford was at practice the other day. She got the game ball, or a play was drawn up for her. Sheila Hamp is getting chants of Sheila. I mean, I never thought in a million years
you'd ever hear that.
I would hear a Lions fans cheering the ownership.
Lions fans.
But you cannot help but see this thing turn. And I think we really get an indication of that on this Inside the Den. This series that the Lions put out is really incredible, and you get to see just how special this culture is within the Lions building. Just seeing Sheila around, or seeing Martha get just your take on Lions ownership and culture, because it's a complete 180 from anything we've ever seen in our lifetimes anyway.
Yeah, I think once Mrs. Ford came in, there was clearly less patience than her husband had to a fault. I think we can all agree that one of the issues with Mr. Ford was that he kept people for too long. He was loyal to people and tried to let them do the job that he hired them for, past the point where most people knew that it wasn't going to work out. She walked in, she was behind, letting Tom Luongo, letting Martin Mayhew go, very much involved in getting rid of Joe Lombardi and changing the offensive coordinator back in 2015. And then I think when Sheila came in, what I would say about Sheila is this. She looked around and did a deep dive enough to understand that the culture there that had been put in place and cultivated by Bob Quinn and Matt Patricia was not good. And it's not just about football. It's about everybody in the building feeling like they're valued, feeling like they're part of something, and feeling like when they walk in, they're needed on that day. And it's not football here and everybody else over here. She wanted to change that. And that was the hiring of Chris Spielman. And then with Rod Wood, Chris Spielman, her, Mike Disner, they all decided to change the entire scope, and they looked for people that would help them do that, that would have this collaborative effect of people working together. And I credit her for that, because it is different in that building than it ever has been in my 27 years covering this team. It is palpable. You can feel it. Look, you ultimately have to win. What I'm saying here doesn't matter. Yeah. But part of this is what helps you win is when everybody in the organization is pulling in the same direction. Everybody in the organization feels some value for what they do, whether it's selling tickets or public relations or media relations or playing linebacker or playing quarterback, whatever it is. She has put that in place by putting the people in place that prioritize that. And I give her immense credit for that. And I think this rebuild feels different. We'll see where it goes from here, because, again, ultimately you have to do it. But I think you mentioned inside the den, when you see the way that
And I think we just lost Dan, but you get the picture. That is incredible to hear him say that. You know, 27 years covering the team. Is he just
wrapping it. Yeah, my phone. Yeah. Just to finish up. Look, it's important. It's powerful. It's what they need. It is a base for success. Yeah, and she's put that in place with the.
Great stuff, Dan. We'll let you go. Take that call. Maybe it's information on the Tigers trade.
Hey, exactly.
Dan Miller, we love you. Thanks so much. Check Dan out tonight. Fox 2 News at 5 and 6. So I'm sure I'll have the latest on the Tigers. Everything going on with the Detroit Lions as well. He is the absolute GOAT, Dan Miller. We love him so much. We'll talk to him throughout the NFL season. Got to get to a break right now, guys. When we come back, we'll react to that and get you more trade news as well. But first, a message from Guardian Alarm. They're your local security experts and have been for over 90 years. When you see this black and yellow sign out in front of your house, it tells the bad guys one thing: stay out. Whether you are at home or on the road, they're 24/7 professional monitoring, customized solutions from real experts, and technology backed by people means you are backed by the best. Call this number right here, 1-800.
Stay out.
That number again, 1-800.
Stay out.
Stay out of here.
Get out.
Tell them Woodward Sports sent you.
Love Woodward Sports? Love wearing clothes? Then you should be wearing Woodward Sports clothes. Check out our full line of merch at woodwardsports.com. Just click on shop. We have all your favorite designs, like Dan Campbell kneecaps, Woodward golf, and of course, our own logoed out merchandise. Men, women, infants, kids all love Woodward Sports. Impress your friends. Impress your boss. Impress your dog. Buy Woodward Sports merch today.
The Sports Marketing Agency would not be who we are without great community partners like Higuera Health and Carol Zuniga.
It's an awesome opportunity to partner with your organization. Higuera Health is a comprehensive behavioral health organization. We serve children through older adults with mental health, substance use, and developmental disabilities across Western Wayne counties, and really excited to now be in downriver communities as well. Give us a call at 734-458-4601.
Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us, hop on the YouTube chat, slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Hey guys, it's Maz for Big Boy. It's the summer of strawberry. You know, it's Strawberry Fest, and you want to start your day off with a great breakfast from Big Boy, the strawberry hotcakes or the mouth-watering red velvet waffles. If you want a little brunch in your life, why not? The strawberry bacon chicken wrap is delicious, And the Summer Splash salad will get you light so you can have some dessert. That's right, the classic strawberry pie, the deep-fried vanilla Oreos, or the strawberry hot fudge cake. Get them all at your local Big Boy.
Big Boy.
All right, we do have some updates. John Morosi tweeting that the Tigers are close to trading starting pitcher Michael Lorenzen to the Philadelphia Phillies for infield prospect Hao-Yu Lee. He's part of a proposed return heading to Detroit. Not a 1-for-1, but Lee is a right-handed bat, 5'9", 190, and he is 20 years old.
There you go.
He is 20
that's
years
not
old.
Official yet,
from
it's looking close.
From Taiwan.
It's looking good.
Just looking at some of the stats here. Let me get you the stats.
What's his exit velo?
I don't know anything about exit velo, but he is hitting
Lord.
285 through three seasons at all levels. Through 3 seasons, all levels of the minors. He has a 285 batting average.
All right.
With an OPS of 811.
We'll take him.
Yeah, I know, right?
Exactly.
You had me at hello.
And you got a power.
You had me. He's hitting over 200.
Yeah.
You had me.
15 homers in 3 seasons.
Oh,
So
15 homers. That leads the league. That leads the Tigers.
Not too much of a power guy. But he's 20 years old. We'll see what he happens.
Oh, 3 seasons.
Last year, if you added all Tigers, that would have led.
But that's just part of the haul.
He's got more home runs than Miguel Cabrera.
The entire haul
over
is.
the last 4 years.
But there you go. There's so many,
Interesting.
There's so many fake
I know.
accounts
You
now.
got to double check.
Really double and triple check your facts.
That's why I leave it to you guys, man.
Right. That's why we're here. But just to reiterate something about that Dan Miller said. And look, again, all of this rah-rah stuff could go out the window if they, whether they lose the first 2 games or lose the opener, split, whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
There will be some time to tell, but it just does feel different when you have a guy who's been there for 27 years and say this is different.
Yeah.
Because it almost validates what you see. We were just talking about that with Justin Fields.
Very
right?
true. Very true.
I think this is a really good example, Maz. Don't let the past failures blind you from looking at what's in front of your face.
Yep.
For instance, don't let Ohio State quarterback failures blind you from how good Justin Fields is. And I'll extrapolate that to the Detroit Lions. Don't let the past year's failures or past regimes to blind you from what you see right now. I think that is a slam dunk. I think this is different. It feels different. It validates it when a guy like Dan Miller says this is different. Yes, they have to win, but they can't win a game today. They can only win a practice, right? So we won't be able to have that validation until September rolls around and they play the Kansas City Chiefs. Then we'll see.
And the words of one of my rivals, play like a champion today, and that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to win every day. They're trying to win each day. You win the week, you win the camp, and then hopefully on Thursday you win that game. So we will see. But like you said, there will be ups and downs through this road, Ryan and Ermanni. And Lions fans have to remember, you got to remember, that's how the NFL works. That's how the league works. So if they lose a game, don't trip. Like if they're looking bad early in terms of a game, don't trip. If Dan Campbell makes a bad decision on the play, don't trip. Watch the whole thing play out and watch the growth for the 4 quarters of the game, not just 1 quarter or 1 play.
Listen, guys. Yes, thank you, Sheila. This is the real deal this year.
Yeah.
It truly is. If you don't see that from last year to now, if you don't hear Dan Miller tell you that it's different, this is it, man. Get yourself some. Start drinking it because it's going to be the drink of Lion fans from here on out. Guaranteed.
And there are going to be some getting started. You got 2 new running backs. You have a new starting wide receiver. You have a new starting tight end. You go on the other side of the ball. You got a whole new secondary for the most part. And then you have a guy that be playing a lot more than he did last year in James Houston and Josh Pascal. So there's a lot of putting the team together. A lot of we got to get our chemistry in terms of in-game experiences. So it will, even if they get some wins early, it still can look a little rocky early in those wins. But once they get into about week 4, week 5, week 6, that's when when you see them take off and ascend like they did to start in last season.
No doubt about it. Guys, we're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll go around the NFL. Also, let me tell you, let me talk to you. Let me talk to you. Yeah. LA Knight is I'm gonna play a little something from LA Knight. Oh, SummerSlam. Let me talk to you. Yeah. But first, a message from Dispo.
Yes, experience the true meaning of exceptional cannabis products with Dispo Dispensary. Indulge in the finest selection of cannabis curated with care. With over 12 locations, including their new location that is now open in Whitmore Lake, Dispo is never far away. Visit disposhops.com today and unlock a world of endless possibilities in the realm of cannabis. That is DISPO shops.com, your local cannabis plug.
21 and up.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports. How would you like to win not one, but 2 vehicles of your choice? One for you and one for your wife, your girlfriend, or your best bud. Get to Lady Jane's today for an award-winning haircut and automatically enter for your chance to win. Courtesy of Les Stanford Buick GMC of Ferndale. Lady Jane's, open 7 days a week, walk in anytime. It's wicked awesome. We are the network for Detroit by Detroiters. Welcome to the Woodward Sports Network. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network. We don't like to brag that we are the toughest sports network in Detroit, but we do have a guy named Darren McCarty on our side. Woodward Sports. All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage. The only sports network in Detroit that starts with a W. You know, because we win. Woodward Sports, Detroit's winning sports network.
Hey, gang, let me tell you about Outdoor Equipment Company. Playtime may be over with your childhood, but never over when you're an adult. That's right. It's even more fun. Playtime when you're an adult. Outdoor Equipment Company is your source for that fun. Outdoor power equipment, sales, service, parts, carrying top brands such as Bad Boy, LS Tractor, Steel, and more. Outdoor Equipment Company services the Great Lakes region in Metro Detroit and Greater Lansing. For more information, here's the website right here above my head. OutdoorEquipCo.com. OutdoorEquipCo.com. Your power equipment playground. Tom Mazawey.
We have it. It is official. The Tigers and Phillies have consummated a deal. That's right. Tigers are sending Michael Lorenzen to Philly for infielder Hal Yu Lee, the Phillies' number 5 prospect. And you know who did that deal, right? Dave Dombrowski.
There you go.
Yeah.
Just a little side note. Dave Dombrowski sending something to the Tigers.
Was that him trying to help us out?
Usually he sends good prospects away, right? So maybe we finally sent us a good prospect instead of giving all ours away.
He owes us one.
He does.
4-7.
Is he anywhere on the MLB top prospects?
Well, he's a Phillies top 5 guy, so he's in the top 100 for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, he's a Phillies top 5 guy.
That's good.
And now granted, he's their Hal Yu Lee is their number 1 infield prospect.
Yes. Okay.
3 of the top 5 are pitchers. 1 is an outfielder. The lines are flush with outfielders. Tigers.
Okay.
You know, they just drafted their first-round pick as well. So this is it on paper anyway.
Hey, they're trading a guy that's going to be a free agent next year. Guess what? He could come back, and he might.
By the way, the Lions got a good outfield, too, with C.J. Gardner-Johnson, Kirby Joseph, and the boys in that secondary.
Hell yeah, they do.
I'm trying to think of trying to look at like Major League Baseball, not just Phillies, but MLB top prospects. But whatever, it doesn't matter.
Well, Pete, they're telling me he's not top 100, but if he's a top 5, there's 30 teams. Like, all right, so he's top 150.
There you go. Very good. How many of those are pitchers?
Maybe.
Though, right?
Plenty.
Yeah, because you don't need arms.
Yeah.
You don't need arms. So we'll see what happens with
They're not going to win the World Series this year with Michael Lorenzen.
No.
They got a body.
No, but they might with Lee. Guys, hey, I want to go around the NFL, Tom Mazawey. We've got lots of news and notes to get to.
We can do that. How about starting it off with the Super Bowl? For the first time in Super Bowl history, it will be simulcast. Well, not really simulcast, but an alternative version of itself. It's going to be on Nickelodeon. It's a slime fest. That's right. It's a slime cast. The alternative broadcast will be on Nickelodeon. So the kids can maybe start to watch some football. Ian Eagle's kid, I forgot his first name. He was the announcer.
Oh, yeah.
Was the broadcast. He did a great job, by the way. He's an up-and-coming broadcaster, Ian Eagle's son. And I forget his first name. I think he's a Chargers play-by-play guy. He'll probably wind up still doing that game. And I think he does it with Nate Burleson, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's okay. I'm not going to watch it, but that's good. I'm glad that it's on there and some kids can watch it.
You know what's cool about this, though, too, is like I think they did a playoff game last year, and it was pretty good. It was pretty good. I caught some of the clips of it. But what's cool about this is when you're doing the Super Bowl, you got your Super Bowl party, you got your adults. You can get that kids room set up. You can have them watch it in the kids room. Hey, watch this Nickelodeon simulcast. You can have fun, but still be watching a little football, too.
Hey, Bray, I saw this today. I don't know if we have this tweet, but I saw this today. We've been talking about, so many other people have been talking about the running back position in
Tony
the NFL.
Dungy. Yeah.
Tony Dungy had a lot to say about this. So Pro Football Talk, Mike Florio tweeted out, the chew them up, spit them out approach to running backs is unfortunate but not new. In 2006, the Colts let Edgerrin James walk away after a franchise tag and a 1,500-yard season. They drafted Joseph Adai to replace him, and they won the Super Bowl. But as you see right here, Tony Dungy provides a little bit more context to that. Edgerrin was worth every penny he was paid by the Cardinals that year. We went with Joseph Adai and Dominic Rhodes. They got 1,722 yards rushing for them. We saved a ton of money and used those savings to sign Dwight Freeney, Reggie Wayne, and Dallas Clark to long-term deals. Economic reality. That is the economic reality of what you do when you don't pay your running back.
This is what people that have no concept of what's going on, or they just jump on the trend and just think that they're going to be right with their comments. I read a lot of comments after Tony Dungy. They was like, well, that doesn't make sense because if he did 772 yards, then why wouldn't you pay him? And they broke that down. He said, it doesn't sound like that makes sense. Dwight Freeney is a Hall of Famer. Reggie Wayne is a Hall of Famer. Dallas Clark could have been a Hall of Famer. They end up winning a Super Bowl. Joseph Adai and I went to the Pro Bowl this same year. It wasn't about disrespect for Edgerrin James because he still got his money in Arizona. But the Indianapolis Colts made the best decision for the Indianapolis Colts, and look how it paid out for them. It's about what the team does, not what's necessary people that don't know anything about the sport do.
And I think that's the hardest part, too, for fans or fans of players. Maybe you're a Giants fan and you love Saquon Barkley and you want Saquon Barkley to be happy in your uniform and you want him to love your city and all that stuff. But it just doesn't work that way. It's a business, man. And if you could tell me you're going to take Edgerrin James money, get more production from it's Moneyball.
Yeah, it is.
This is Moneyball. This is exactly what you shave from one position, or you get the production of one player by paying two guys less money, and then you spread that money around. I don't know, man. And again, wide receivers weren't making $10 million 10 years ago. So if I'm a wide receiver, I'm sorry, running backs. This is my game now. It's my time to get paid.
Yeah, true. And even with the Moneyball aspect, like the Moneyball aspect was about trying to find the best position, fill them up, lower at the lowest price, get the most bang for your buck. But with those players, you're talking about guys that were extending deals. It wasn't necessarily about the Moneyball. It was like extending it here. We can get this guy. This guy's about to re-up and sign it. They played it perfect on that one.
All right, let's move on. How about the Denver Broncos? They got some bad news yesterday on their receivers. First, they knew they were going to lose KJ Hamler, so they waive him. He's going to go through waivers, and they're going to bring him back. He's going to get his money. But they lost another wide receiver in Tim Patrick, who, well, his Achilles is shot, and that's not good.
I heard somebody come out and say that you should be quiet because the football guys are always listening and watching. You see Sean Payton went after Nathaniel Hackett. Well, after that happens, 2 players get hurt. You see Jim Irsay says something about the running backs and blah, blah, blah. Their running back got hurt.
Broke his arm.
He broke his arm. So if I was Ken Campbell, don't talk about anybody else because it's not going well. That's going to be interesting to see how the Colts bounce back from that situation. But with the Broncos, that's not good going into a season where you're trying to get that offense back rolling. Sean Payton is going to rely heavy on Russell Wilson, but he needs wide receivers for you to get it done. Side note, KJ Hamler, I ran track with his brother, Damon Hamler. He went to Orchard Lake St. Mary's, and one of the fastest kids I ever seen. Shout out to KJ and his brother.
Get well, guys. Get well.
Tom, let's take a break.
Yeah, sure.
When we come back, it is the one, the only L.A. Knights.
Let's do it.
But first, a message from Fairway Packing Company. Choose Fairway Packing Company. Why? Because they're the best. If you go to any one of the great steakhouses, hotels, casinos in the state of Michigan, and even many beyond, they carry this prime beef, Wagyu beef, dry-aged beef of Fairway Packing Company. You can experience the Fairway difference for yourself today. You don't have to go to one of those fancy steakhouses. You can just pick one up, vacuum-packed, sealed, and you can cook it yourself at home. Visit the steak shop in Grosse Pointe Woods. Grab and go steaks. You can order online, fairwaypacking.com. Fairwaypacking.com.
Source, prime, cut, stage 2, perfection.
Booyah.
Yum.
You have an opinion? Make sure it's seen and heard. Corner, jumper, tweet us. Hop on the YouTube chat. Slide in the DMS at Woodward Sports on all social media.
Something else. How big is that?
All of Detroit's sports teams live on Woodward. All of Detroit's sports coverage lives on Woodward Sports. Driving the best in Detroit sports coverage.
It's the Randy Wise Celebrity Golf Tour.
You're a good coach, Tim. Oh, great shot.
Some of the biggest names in Michigan sports, and some, well, not so much.
Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, yeah, baby. Oh, shit. Go in.
Watch episodes at woodwardsports.com.
Introducing the Planet Fitness Guide to getting that post-workout glow. Step 1. What's your why? More epic energy? Better sleep? Blow off steam? Step 2. Join Planet Fitness for just $10 a month and get moving in our clean and spacious clubs. Step 3. Bask in that post-workout glow. Join Planet Fitness today for just $10 a month.
Join today at any of the 50-plus Detroit area locations.
A ton of fun, a ton of sports, and a ton of man-meat. Welcome to the Woodward Heavyweights, live daily 5 to 7 p.m. on Woodward Sports.
Let me talk to you. The biggest event of the summer happening at Ford Field on Saturday. SummerSlam returns to Detroit for the first time since 1993. For more, let's talk to a once-in-a-generation star, the megastar. Hop on the gravy train that is L.A. Knights. How are you, sir?
Man, I tell you what, after an intro like that, I feel like I don't even need to be here. Matter of fact, I'm going to go ahead and leave now. No.
L.A., how are you, my friend? So good to see you. Look, I heard you. I think you are one of the greatest entertainers we have seen, seriously, in a long, long time. When you are out there, the crowd pops, man. Where did you kind of find yourself along the way here?
You know, for me, it was just looking at the landscape of the business in general, not just WWE, but just looking at what everybody was doing and how can I do something a little bit different. And for me, it was just I want to walk to that ring with a no nonsense kind of style. Now, look, I'm gonna pepper a little bit of flavor on it. Like I'm gonna talk some trash and stuff, but for the most part, I'm about my business. Let me get down to that ring, do my thing. I want to make sure I make an impact right off the bat. And so far, so good.
You know, the WWE and the city of Detroit has had this kind of marriage since its inception. I mean, WrestleMania 3, WrestleMania 23, SummerSlams. What about Detroit is so special, I think, for the people here that go and the performers who compete?
Man, there's such a big fan base there, a passionate fan base there. Even in my career pre-WWE, I've been through Detroit so much, and you can feel the passion on the people there. And so now you want to go ahead and throw that amount of people into Ford Field. It is going to be a huge night. And you're talking about the biggest party of the summer. It's SummerSlam. And with this guy there, it's an even bigger party. But here's the thing. If you can't be there, if you can't make it to Ford Field, Peacock, 8 p.m. You don't want to miss SummerSlam. Yeah.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Hey, so Ford Field, this is the first event for the WWE at Ford Field since WrestleMania 23 in 2007. The place is going to be packed. LA, talk to me about you guys in the dressing room. Obviously, WrestleMania is the biggest event in sports entertainment. Where would you kind of classify SummerSlam on the hierarchy of events on the WWE calendar?
Well, for me, I'm an old school boy. You know, I've been growing up with this since I was a little kid. So for me, you got your big four. You got WrestleMania, Royal Rumble, you got Survivor Series, you got SummerSlam. So for me, obviously SummerSlam is like our Super Bowl. It's our World Series, whatever. But then you've got those other three, Royal Rumble, Survivor Series, SummerSlam, and they're all on par. So you're looking at one of the biggest events of the year. And in some people's eyes, maybe it is the biggest event of the year. For me, as far as I'm concerned right now, it's the biggest event of my year because we're coming in. It's Slim Jim Battle Royal. It's me. It's 19 other guys, and I'm watching 19 other of those guys go flying over the top rope as I stand there and get my hand raised in Ford Field because that's the only way it can go down.
How different is competing in a Royal Rumble for you? How difficult is that?
Well, I haven't been in the actual Royal Rumble itself yet, but as far as a Battle Royal, which same idea, slightly different because all 20 men start in the ring when the bell rings as opposed to the Royal Rumble where it's 2 and you feed in, you know, another person every couple minutes. Now, man, it's all bets are off because all 20 guys are in that ring when that bell rings. And so now it's like you gotta have crazy endurance while also having eyes in the back of your head. It's a wild ride for sure.
Okay, right here at Fox 2 where you are in Detroit, one of the guys I work with, John Shull, who's an assignment manager here, who works behind the scenes, is a huge fan of yours. Can you hit him with a yeah?
Oh, John, what are you doing back there? I tell you what, here's the thing, man. A lot of times I go in these interviews and nobody knows what's going on. And here you are. And you know everything. And you're talking about this guy. You're talking about L.A. Knight. Yeah.
Yeah, let me talk to you, LA Knight. Let me talk to you. We'll see you SummerSlam on Saturday. Oh, man. Listen, LA Knight, Detroit brings it every time, all right? And including in interviews, too.
And at SummerSlam, I'm going to be talking to you a lot. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. If you can't make it, watch on Peacock. LA Knight, incredible. And you can see him on SmackDown on Friday nights here, too. We got you covered in Detroit, LA Knight. Yeah. How great is that?
What a huckster.
It's so funny, man. That guy sounds like a mix between The Rock and Stone Cold. I think that's why he pops.
That's funny.
Tiger Town in the chat says, why is Ryan Ermanni on the news?
Hey, look at that.
I've only been there for 20 years.
No, think about that. Remember when we first started, everybody asked us, what we
I know, exactly. Dave says that's his real job. Ryan says Ermanni is a suit.
He is a suit.
So this is like his side job then? Basically. I love you guys.
This is love.
He's a sports entertainer. Oh, God.
Getting that love now, man.
Oh, my God. It's so awesome.
You ought to go to SummerSlam. Why don't you go?
I
got tickets.
I don't know.
Just because I know. You're never home. I get it.
I'm just not home a lot.
I know.
You know what I mean? It's hard. But
But you're a
Just,
fan.
you know.
You're a fan.
Yeah, I know. But it's fine. I'm a fan of my kids, too.
Oh, God, yeah.
It's all good. It's fine.
As you should be, sir.
Yeah,
As
it's
you
fine.
should be, sir.
All right, guys. Good stuff today. Bray, get us out of here. I am off tomorrow. I'm going to be playing golf, Maz's favorite sport. Special needs outing in St. Clair Shores.
What about my needs?
Well,
I'll be here for you.
Yeah, Braylon will be here
I'll
for
be here for you.
So I'll see you guys on Thursday. Braylon and Maz, they got you covered.
We got you.
Appreciate you,
Cap or
Ermanni
no
Edwards
cap.
with Maz. Guess what? Tomorrow, I'll bring my voice. But for JB, Parker, my man Maz, Ryan, have fun at the outing tomorrow. Appreciate you always doing good stuff.
Yeah.
You heard him. We are Ermanni and Edwards
Let me
with Maz.
talk to you.
We'll see ya.
See you later.